Believe in you who believes in yourself. This is a video about self-trust, self-reliance, self-belief, of course, self-confidence, self-efficacy, and why not self-love? Because all of us could use at least a little bit more of all of these things. But most people need way more of all of these things than they possess currently. Because all of the talk about a more accomplished or successful life, a more fulfilling life, a more courageous life, and all of the tips and tricks, whether technical or psychological, on how to accomplish more, how to be more productive, how to be more successful, all of it is worthless unless you believe in yourself. All of it is worthless unless you are capable of being your own best and most passionate supporter. And all of you know what it's like to be your own worst and harshest judge and critic. But few people know what it's like to be their own most passionate, most fiery supporter. So we're here to talk about it. When I say believe in you who believes in yourself, maybe I should take a couple of steps back. This is the point. If I was able to implant a thought in your head, maybe actually the first thing that I would say is believe in me who believes in yourself. Because I feel like that thought is easier to accept, and it's almost as powerful as believing in you who believes in yourself. We could say it's even the starting point. Believe in me who believes in yourself. This phrase, for those of you who don't know, and probably most people don't know, comes from an anime. And if you feel like animated series are too childish to extract genuine wisdom from, life-changing wisdom from, then I'm going to be honest, I feel sorry for you. I referenced a couple of times the great anime Gurren Lagann, or full name Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. And I love to emphasize, although it might seem like virtue signaling, I love to emphasize that I watched that over-the-top anime that admittedly has some cringe-worthy scenes. I watched it at the same time as I was intensely studying Friedrich Nietzsche and Soren Kierkegaard, some of the greatest minds of the Western philosophy, some of the greatest minds of the modern age. We could even argue some of the greatest minds of all time, at least in the Western Hemisphere, while actively studying philosophers that are notably difficult to comprehend and to understand and to read. I extracted as much real-life value from Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, the great anime that has one of the most authentic yet universal hero journey stories, and has one of the greatest mentors that I ever witnessed in any fictional story across all mediums. The character named Kamina, who is a typical but also not so typical older brother archetype, an encouraging older brother. And he says to the actual main character, Simon, he says, on multiple occasions, believe in me who believes in yourself. Why? Because the main character, Simon, is a kid with zero self-esteem, crippled by insecurity, crippled by self-doubt, crippled by self-criticism, crippled by so many of those internal psychological and emotional barriers that you are very familiar with. And he continues to get in his own way. He continues to freeze in important moments. And the great Kamina, knowing how difficult it is for a person to become their own most passionate supporter, like he managed to become, he says, it's okay. Don't believe in yourself. Believe in me who believes in yourself. And this is the starting point. That even if you don't have the great Kamina, although I would love to be at least 1% of that figure, of that energy in everyone's life. Even 1% I know can change people's life. to be that figure that says, and that transmutes or transfers that energy. Believe in me who believes in yourself. What is the idea behind this? The idea is to at least believe that you are worthy of believing in. Even if you are right now not capable of believing in yourself, believe that at least someone is capable of believing in yourself, meaning that you are worthy of being believed in. Quite an idea, right? I'm pretty sure most of you never thought about this. It's okay if you don't believe in yourself. It's human to be your own worst critic. It's human and normal and natural, although not constructive. It is normal and natural to be your own worst enemy. History of philosophy and literature and poetry testifies to the fact, and even religion, history of religion as well, all of these traditions of thought, of human thought, testify and witness to the fact that humans are their own worst enemies, and that you as an individual have the power to be your own worst enemy. So there is no judgment there. It's okay, it's normal that you don't believe in yourself, that you find it difficult to believe in yourself, that you are your own worst judge and harshest critic, but that's not an excuse to stay there. At least let's start by believing that we are worthy of being believed in. And I'm telling you right now, even though I'm not able to speak to every single one of you one-on-one right now, I do believe in you. I do believe in you at this moment more than you believe in yourself. You know why? Because I've been that person crippled by insecurity, crippled by self-doubt, crippled by self-hatred, crippled by judgment of myself. And I can proudly say, you know the term, he is him. I can say it without shame and knowing that I'm not arrogant. I knew that I'm him before that expression even existed. In my mind, in my life, in my story, for myself, I'm him all the way through. I don't need to act in a certain way to prove it to others. But once again, even before that became a trend, even before that expression existed, I knew I was him. But in the same way, I know very well what it's like to think so lowly of yourself that is draining you of life energy. I know what it's like to be disgusted with yourself even. I know what it's like to not want yourself to succeed because of how much you don't believe in yourself and how much you don't like yourself. I'm familiar with those feelings, and I can tell you right now that without faking it, side note, there is a version of fake it until you make it that is constructive, but without faking it in the sense of pushing energy out there that is arrogant and hoping that you will believe in that arrogant energy at some point and that arrogant attitude. Without faking it in that sense, you can become your own most passionate and fiery supporter. You can become that person that carries themselves through life with self-reliance, self-trust, self-respect, self-confidence. This spring, it was April, I believe, and even before I tell the story, I will say there are receipts because I actually wrote about this experience that I'm about to share. I wrote it and shared it on Substack at that time. I faced a massive failure. And I remember myself, I have pretty decent visual memory. I remember being on an escalator in a certain building. I remember which city, I prefer not to name it right now. And I was affected emotionally, psychologically by that failure because it meant a lot of things in my life needed to be reorganized. And as I was going up that escalator to do a block of work, because work still needed to get done despite me being disappointed and despite me being shaken up by that failure, I remember having a thought and thinking, well, who is the person in this world that I would always bet on figuring it out? Who is the person in this world that I would always bet on persisting and coming out on the other side of a failure, victorious and successful? Myself. Myself. I can say that, again, without ounce of arrogance, with all the humility. I know that I would bet on myself to figure it out before I would bet on anyone in this world, with all the love and respect and even admiration that I have for other humans. I know that I cannot be defeated in this life as long as I'm physically alive. And once again, that is coming from a person that was walking around with such low self-esteem that it really was sad. And why am I saying all of this? To say, I know that you are worthy of being believed in. So even if I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to, even if I'm not sitting now with you one-on-one, face-to-face, even if I don't know the context, all the context of your life, because of my internal experience and external experience of life, I know very well that you are worthy of being believed in. So when I say believe in me who believes in you, it's not empty talk. It's not a throwaway motivational phrase. It's coming from someone who doesn't need to know the context of your life in order to believe in you. I know enough. I know that you're human. I know that you're struggling. I know that your struggles are natural. I know that your struggles are human, all too human. And I know that I am not special in any way, that I was able to make this transformation. I'm no better than you. I truly believe that. At least in terms of inherent capacity. Inherent capacity to become your own most passionate supporter. I refuse to believe that I am any better, or other people that have made those transformations. So when I say believe in me who believes in you, it's not, once again, a throwaway motivational quote. It's a real talk. Well, how do we move toward you believing in you who believes in yourself? Sounds messy, right? Let's go back to Kamina, the great mentor character, the greatest mentor character of all. As the story progresses, Simone, the main character, shows up more and more, grows psychologically, grows physically as well, grows in his powers. And then there is a point where Kamina says, don't believe in me. Believe in you who believes in yourself. And Simone does end up being this immensely powerful, self-confident, but still noble and full of humility. Great human. What is the lesson here? There are so many lessons to extract from that story, but one of them is that Kamina, although in that story a separate character, a separate human being, could very well be perceived as a part of Simone's psyche. Because even though it's immensely powerful to have an actual mentor in your life to teach you certain lessons, and of course to have multiple mentors in your life to teach you certain lessons, you have to recognize that there is that seed in you, that seed of a mentor. On your hero journey, you will access many different archetypes in your psyche. You will not just meet them out in the real world. So the great Kamina is in all of us, not just in Simone's psyche. The great mentor, the great big brother, the confident big brother who embraces life and embraces humanity with all of its flaws, embraces life with all of its struggles and difficulties, and laughs in front of danger, and jumps into life, and walks forward with fire, burning, raging fire in his heart. that character exists in all of us. We cannot count on that character, that archetype, always being the dominant force or the major force in our psyche. It would be unrealistic to expect so, but that character, that archetype, that energy exists in all of us. So when you believe in me, who believes in you, I'm just a representation of what is possible already in you. I'm just trying to show you the way towards the relationship that you can have with yourself. Just like Kamina was trying to show Simon the way towards a relationship that he can have with himself. So when you believe in me, who believes in you, you're already starting to be your own most passionate supporter, because you're realizing that, yeah, I'm worthy of being believed in. And then the next step is, I can believe in at least a part of me that believes in me. And that's enough. That's enough. Because you do consist of parts. Our psyche is so complex, consisting of multiple different parts that sometimes want opposing things and sometimes want to influence you in different directions. And that makes this experience called human life often confusing, but also interesting. And amongst those multiple parts, there exists this energy that is there to support you. That energy will never allow you to fall apart. That energy, as long as it's kept alive, will never, never, never allow you to stay down. You will fall down, but you will never stay down. That energy has raised me from the brink of ending it all multiple times. And billions of other people as well. That energy has pulled them up from the depths of despair, from the lowest points of despair. And that energy exists in you. So when you believe in me, who believes in yourself, you're already believing in yourself as being worthy of being believed in. And you're believing in a part of yourself that always believes in you. And if you believe in this part of yourself that always believes in you, then you're already believing in a version of yourself that carries that part of yourself as a dominant energy. How could you not? You've been tricked right now. You've been tricked. You have to accept that you already believe in that version of yourself. Because if part of yourself is always there as your own most passionate supporter, and we know that these different energies at different moments can be given the center stage, then there absolutely is a version of yourself that fully believes in yourself and that walks, as we said, walks through life, smiling at adversity, nurturing that raging fire in his or her chest, and belly as well, belly being also the center of passion, whichever one you prefer. The version of yourself that embraces life with open hands. The version of yourself that laughs when they fail because they know they will keep going and they know they will come out on the other side of failure victorious, that they will figure it out. That version of you exists. And that's enough. And that's enough. When you need to believe in you that believes in yourself. We are dismissing these ridiculous, childish, naive portrayals of self-confidence that we see online these days. People who tell you that they never feel depressed, that they never lack self-confidence, that they never struggle with self-doubt, that they're able to brush it off instantly. We reject them. They're childish. They don't know what self-trust is. They don't know what real self-confidence is. Arrogance comes from lack of self-confidence and genuine self-trust and genuine self-reliance and genuine self-esteem. Arrogance comes from weakness. Arrogance comes from the feeling of not being enough. So when a guru out there says, oh, you should be able to just flip a switch and not struggle and turn off all of your psychological, mental, and emotional difficulties, you should be able to just brush them off, flip the switch, delete them, and then proceed as if nothing happened or as if nothing was happening. They don't know. They don't know what is actually possible. They don't know that you can actually have a loving, passionate relationship with yourself, that you don't need to deny yourself, that you can embrace and acknowledge that you're struggling as human and that you can still pick yourself up. That you can be him or her even though you've admitted to be lacking self-esteem in the past and that you still at points feel extremely insecure. That is possible for you. A real self-trust, a real self-confidence, real self-esteem. That great mentor, that powerful energy is in you. I'm taking this moment and I'm hoping that you are able to soak it in. Because something is shifting inside of you at this moment right now. I know it is. Believe in you who believes in yourself. Believe in at least a part of you who believes in yourself. Believe in a version of yourself who believes in yourself. And when all of that seems too difficult, then just take a couple of steps back. Go back to fundamentals and believe in me who believes in yourself. Thank you.